Good evening, and welcome back to Rabbitflea Productions. Today we are looking at a massive, messy controversy. We have a giant stack of sources to sift through, including Reddit threads, legal blogs, statements from different groups, and internal paperwork. Our focus is entirely on YouTube creator Aaron Smith-Levin and his channel, Growing Up in Scientology. Before we dive into the timeline, I need to just give you a quick disclaimer. The info we are looking at includes some heavy, highly loaded accusations from multiple sides that are basically at war with each other. We have documents from the Church of Scientology Stand League, but we also have statements from rival ex-Scientology advocates and former friends. We are not taking sides. We are not here to say what is or isn't true.
Our only goal is to report the claims, so you can see the bigger picture. The main question is wild. How did a guy who built a huge following by exposing a controversial group end up facing a non-stop wave of accusations from his own former friends? To understand how it all fell apart publicly, we have to start where the cracks first showed behind closed doors, which was his private life. Looking through family statements and emails shows a massive difference between his public family man image and the troubling claims about his behavior off camera. The paperwork outlines intense claims of volatile, angry behavior in his personal relationships going back years.
These private allegations are detailed across multiple individual accounts. For instance, in a heavy written statement, Smith-Levin's mother-in-law claims she kicked him out of her house, noting it wasn't just a normal family fight. She explicitly claims she saw him apply extreme discipline within his family. This account matches written statements from his sister-in-law, Erica, who notes that Smith-Levin's wife, Heather, seemed to live in a constant state of fear. Erica describes a dynamic where he would very angrily explode at his wife and kids over tiny things. Furthermore, Katerina, another sister-in-law who worked as the kids' nanny, shares a scary story about her 70-year-old father. She claims that while Aaron was living rent-free in the elderly man's house, a basic argument about household chores escalated. She says he aggressively backed the old man into a wall, screaming right in his face. And when Katerina tried to step in, she claims he turned that physical intimidation on her, trying to back her into a wall too. The friction in his private life eventually spilled out into his other relationships. Starting in 2020, public disclosures made it clear that Aaron Smith-Levin was having extramarital affairs with multiple other women. The sources indicate that this pattern of behavior continues to this day, seen in his on-again, off-again relationship with Jenna Miscavige, along with ongoing claims of his cheating on her and acting aggressively toward her. Every separate incident, from the affairs and intimidation to the relationship drama, collided with his public platform on December 7, 2025, during an incident involving Jenna Miscavige. According to police reports and source accounts, when law enforcement arrived at his house, Aaron refused to answer the door. Instead, he went straight to his computer, turned on his webcam, and started a live stream for his YouTube audience. While the police were literally outside his house, he immediately banned Jenna from the channel's live chat, completely silencing her online. He then started feeding his version of the story directly to thousands of subscribers. He essentially uses the live stream to control the narrative, focusing his audience's attention entirely on his screen and his words, so they remain distracted from what is happening in the physical world outside his home. The source material points to this exact live stream tactic as DARVO, which stands for Deny the Domestic Violence, Attack the Credibility of the Person Accusing Him, and Reverse the Victim and Offender Roles. By using his platform to run this play in real time, the sources argue he flipped the script to look like the true victim of a smear campaign before the actual victim could even speak. Keeping up an advocate persona when there is a huge, searchable digital trail relies entirely on fans wanting to believe what they see on screen. This raises a creepy parallel in the sources, making us ask if we are seeing a case of someone leaving a cult just to act like a cult leader themselves. Is he using the exact same silencing and bullying tactics he used to criticize Scientology for using? One commentator on Reddit explicitly asks if you can take the man out of Scientology, but can you take the Scientology out of the man? When an authoritarian group or a big internet personality is threatened with bad press or a loss of power, the immediate reflex is to protect the image and destroy the person talking. The truth of the accusation doesn't matter. Shutting down the threat is everything. The sources argue he is copying the exact playbook he claims to be fighting, using subscribers the way a cult uses its members to attack critics. This tension led to a final warning from his former ally, Mike Rinder. The documents describe a 7-part video series recorded by Rinder, using his limited time and remaining energy while fighting a terminal illness. He used his final public moments to explicitly warn the anti-Scientology community about the massive damage he believed Aaron Smith-Levin was causing to the whole movement. As the Growing Up in Scientology channel's views began to tank, his focus shifted away from helping people. To feed the algorithm and stay relevant, he pivoted to rage baiting. He started manufacturing toxic drama and launching wild, unbacked attacks on his own former allies, including Rinder, Leah Remini, and Mark and Claire Headley. Anger is the easiest emotion for getting clicks, and the algorithm doesn't care if the drama is toxic, only that people are clicking. The sources suggest Smith-Levin realized that attacking his former friends made more immediate money than doing the slow, quiet work of actually helping victims. There is a tragic paradox when fighting a dangerous cult. Sometimes the loudest critics end up mirroring the exact monsters they are trying to tear down. To truly understand the controversy surrounding Scientology whistleblower Aaron Smith-Levin, we have to look at his behavior through a specific psychological lens known as the dark triad. In Scientology, manipulation is part of the institutionalized doctrine. Their official policy labels critics as enemies to be destroyed at all costs, encouraging followers to lie, deceive, and manipulate to protect the organization at any expense. The tragedy is when a person escapes that system but brings the exact same playbook out into the real world. The first trait of the dark triad is narcissism, which is defined by an overinflated ego and a desperate need for admiration. Former allies from the Aftermath Foundation recently ousted Smith-Levin from their board, explicitly accusing him of running extreme, ego-driven crusades. They described a pattern of drama junkie behavior meant entirely to dominate the anti-cult spotlight and keep the attention on himself. The second pillar is Velianism, which is a cold, ruthless focus on self-interest and manipulation. The sources suggest that Smith-Levin weaponizes the exact same coordinated defamation campaigns that his former church is famous for using. Instead of focusing on genuine advocacy, this trait shows up in the way he allegedly works behind the scenes to destroy competing critics and manipulate vulnerable women to serve his own agenda. The final piece of the triad is psychopathy, which shows up as extreme impulsivity, explosive anger, and a complete lack of remorse. The public and legal records surrounding Smith-Levin paint a dark picture of unchecked, ongoing hostility. We see this clearly in documented reports of his physical altercations, severe anger issues, and a recent arrest for the stalking of a disabled veteran. Ultimately, this situation highlights a heartbreaking reality about high-control groups. Escaping a cult's physical control does not automatically mean you have shed its psychological programming. The deepest damage happens when you take the exact tactics of intimidation, silencing, and destruction used by your abusers and weaponize them against your new enemies. What we have unpacked today from this massive stack of sources is a look at an internet world where personal drama, court battles, and chasing YouTube views all crash into each other. We see a public face broken by real-world convictions, a charity broken by ego, and a community of survivors split by an algorithm that rewards outrage. This leaves us with a bigger question to think about. If the very platforms that give victims a voice are built on algorithms that reward our worst impulses, valuing rage over actually fixing things, how can we ever truly trust online influencers? And more uncomfortably, are we part of the problem when we give this digital drama our clicks? Well, this brings us to the end of an interesting review of Aaron, founder of the SPTV Foundation, and his channel, Growing Up in Scientology. Please stay tuned for more content from Rabbitflea Productions. Like, subscribe, and/or follow to help support this channel, or visit our link tree in the description of the channel, as we are not yet monetized.